and I have a good amount of works in progress to show you guys as well. With most of them being, can you guess? Let's say it together. Socks. Hello everyone and welcome back to the DoSo Knits YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen and I'm a knitter and military spouse currently living in Germany with my family. This is my YouTube channel where I share with all you guys how knitting has interwoven into my life. Today's video is episode 22 of the DoSo Knits podcast, where I share with you guys things that I've finished, what I'm working on, what I want to be working on in the near future, and just some general life updates as well. If you'd like to follow me other places, I am DoSo Knits basically everywhere here on YouTube, Instagram, and Ravelry if you'd like to keep up with me in other places. So since the last podcast episode, I don't know if it feels like this for you guys, but to me, I feel like it's been a really long 2 weeks. I guess maybe part of it is I recorded a little early in the week that I posted my last podcast, so it's been about 2.5 weeks for me, but I don't know, I have a lot of finished objects to share with you guys and I'm excited to show you. I don't know, these last 2 weeks I feel like I haven't sat down and chat with you guys in so long. I actually posted on my Instagram in the past week doing a little poll if you guys prefer every other week or maybe even weekly podcasts. If you have an idea of how often you would like to see podcasts from me, I'd love to know in the comments down below. I want to make sure you guys are getting videos when you want to see them. I know I'm always looking for more podcasts and I'm always excited when people that I watch post them, so just let me know what you guys think. I do like to have a mix of podcasts and I'm trying to do some other videos as well, so just let me know what you guys think. But since the last 2 weeks, I'm trying to think what else has happened. We went on a little camping trip for Shane's birthday. We went down to this little cabin in the Black Forest. It was really nice. The cabin was really small, but it had everything you needed. It had like a nice kitchenette, a living room. The upstairs had your bed and some place to like hang up your clothes. Overall, just really, really nice. We just went, we did some hiking. We took Sherlock with us. We actually took him on the 10-kilometer hike that we went on, and he did so well. We've never taken him on a hike that long or any hike at all, and he was pushing the whole time. He was out front leading the way. At the end, maybe he was a little slower on his pace, but overall he did really, really well. And actually we hiked the 10-kilometer hike pretty quick. It was supposed to be like a 4-hour hike and I think we did it in 3, so maybe Sherlock helped push us along, I'm not sure. It was really lovely though. And then other than that, the weekend we just kind of relaxed in the cabin, did some reading. I did a lot of knitting. We went out for Shane's birthday dinner. It was the first time we've ate out in a restaurant in a very long time and it went really well. Just did all the reservations online and it was outdoor seating and it was really, really nice. We went to a German brewery and the food was really, really good, and I'm excited to be able to start doing those types of things again. We also went to our first movie last night, and I'll talk about that in a bit because I brought some knitting and worked on that at the movie. And that was also nice because going to the movies is something we do like basically every weekend, maybe every 2 weeks if there's not something that we're super interested in seeing, but going to the movies is something that we love to do. So I'm really happy that the local theater has opened back up, and it's hard because our theater we're in a small community, so it only plays like 1 movie a day, and you get a movie on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, usually not anything during the week, and it's only 1 movie. So it's a lot of fun, but it's a small theater and they're doing limited seating, so we got there really early to make sure we could get a seat, and I've missed the movies, so I'm glad that they're happening again. And yeah, that's basically what's happened the past 2 weeks. I think I also did the Pride Bingo with Fiber Hustle podcast, so that's a podcast that I watch, and I was super lucky enough to get a spot during their Pride Bingo. I didn't win anything, but it was a lot of fun, so I'm hoping I can get on another one of those in the future, because that was a great way to spend some time knitting and connecting with other people as well. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I guess maybe the last 2 weeks have felt really long because things are actually starting to happen more so, instead of it just being like work and back home. Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm glad summer is letting us actually experience a little bit of fun, and I hope it can stay this way. I hope we can keep going in the right direction and people are staying smart. We're all choosing to do activities that are still a little more isolated, like hikes and things, and making sure that when we go places it's safe. So I hope you guys are feeling the same type of energies wherever you are, because it's pretty exciting. But that's enough blabber about what has happened the last 2 weeks. I have a ton of things to show you guys. Like, this is gonna be a jam-packed episode, and I'm pretty proud because I've had some episodes where I feel like I haven't done a whole lot, and this is gonna be like, yep, I did a lot, and editing it's gonna be fun in the end. So let's get started. If you're ready, grab a drink, grab your knitting, and let's talk about some knits. The first thing that I have to show you guys is my Finish Petal Party Crop test knit, which I was test knitting for Samantha Gurin of Samantha Gurin Designs, and I am so excited to show you guys my FO, and here it is. So this is my finished Petal Party Crop, and so here you can see the lace panel that goes down on both sides, and then we have this beautiful garter ridge every so often with the drop sleeves, and a lovely rolled cuff hemline neckline at the top. I tried this on before the podcast and I'm so excited with how it fits. I'm hoping that I can put some photos over top as I'm talking, because the goal is to get some finished object photos of this today. If you don't see it here, then make sure you follow me on Instagram, because I'll be posting my photos there. I'm trying to get Shane to go out with me tonight when the sun is setting, and I want to get some finished object photos of me wearing it. But overall, the fit is amazing. The crop is the perfect length, and I'm very excited because this is like the first sweater I think that fits exactly how I want it. And it's always a thing when it's on the needles. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna feel when you put it on, because it's hard to know. But I put it on today and was like, yep, yeah. I bought 2 sweater quantities worth to maybe make a second, and I really want to make a second one because I think it's just gonna be the perfect versatile top. It looks amazing. I tried it on with some high-waisted shorts and I think that'll look lovely, and I want to wear it over my dresses, and I'm very happy with it, and it folds up so nicely and it just looks so cute. So the details of the pattern. So for my size, this project calls for 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I knit the 44-inch bust circumference, which is the size 4 in the pattern. Samantha has included 10 sizes for this pattern, so it's very size inclusive. It has, the smallest is a 32-inch bust all the way up to a 68. So great wide variety, and there are 10 sizes in that range. And the pattern calls for fingering weight yarn. And yeah, mine got exactly, I think for the 44-inch, I used about 1.5 skeins. I have the leftover here. So I have 50 grams left of this color, so I can make, I think I'm going to be making a pair of socks with the leftovers. The yarn I used is Porter Wool Company in their Old English Heather, and it's the Merino 4-ply. So yes, a nice superwash merino nylon blend, so I can use that on another pair of socks. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, the pattern should be coming out this week. So make sure you follow Samantha on her Instagram. She has a website where she sells her patterns and Ravelry as well. I forgot to mention at the beginning, but show notes for the podcast are always on my website, DoSoKnits.com, and on there you can find, I will link to everything. I will link to Samantha's website, I will link to Porter Wool Company, and I always link to my Ravelry project pages, so that way you have a variety of places to find all the information. I am very religious about my project pages. I like to keep them updated for you guys, and I like having photos up there as well. So if Ravelry's where you like to look at things, I try to have it up there for you as well. I'm super excited about this. I really already want to cast on another because a 2 skein project just makes my heart sing. So yes, Petal Party Crop by Samantha Guerin. Make sure you check her out and follow her this week for more details if you're interested about that pattern, because you should be, because it's super cute. Okay, so that is one finished object of many, but the rest are socks because it is summer sock camp and I have been going summer sock camp crazy. I've been loving knitting my socks, and honestly I should probably focus more on them probably for the rest of the year because it's really fun to knit them. So I think I may have gone a bit crazy on socks, but I'm also really enjoying them, and it's summer and a lot of my socks are tall socks, and I bought some more short socks, so that is what I've been working on mostly. So the first ones that I have to show you guys are my June Desert Vista Dyeworks socks. So every month, Desert Vista Dyeworks, if you knit socks out of her yarn, you get entered in for coupon codes, and it's a knit along for the entire year. So I finished these. I worked on these on our camping trip. I brought it with us, and I finished these pretty early in the trip. I kind of knew I knew them a lot during the drive, and overall I love this yarn. The colors are so perfect, and part of me really just wants another pair in this color because I love it so much. I asked Shane, actually, I was like, do you want a pair in these? Because I want to like cast on another pair right away. And he'll wear a lot of bright colors and is usually not super picky, but he was like, those are too bright for me. And actually they're a little bright for me, but I love them so much. So I'll tell you what I did. So on the cuff, it is a 2x2 cuff, and when I do self-striping, I normally don't count a bunch. I try to hit around 15 for a cuff because that's the length that I like, but I basically just stop with the ribbing when I finish this color, and I start the stockinette when I get to the brown. When I knit self-striping socks, I normally don't put a beginning of round marker until I start the heel, because I like to do them when the color changes happen. So I knit the first 3 colors in ribbing, and then that was about the length that I liked. I could have stopped after 2 if you like a shorter cuff, but I like around 15, and each of these colors I think is about, the blue is about 5 rounds, and the yellow and the variegated were about 3, so I think I have about a 13 round cuff total. And then I did about a 3-inch leg. I did a 3-inch leg because that's the minimum length you have to do for the Desert Vista Dyeworks knit along. And actually I am really liking this length. I think it'll look really nice when I wear them with my Birkenstocks, and it's a nice short for summer, but I can still wear them in fall because it goes over my ankle. So I do really like this length. I think I'm going to be knitting a lot more socks this length because it is a good in-between. They're kind of ankle length socks, which is really interesting because when I was growing up, I never liked ankle length socks. I liked no-show everything. So it's just interesting. But I like these because it shows some of the fun colors that I do. So I did 4 colors for the leg, and then that's when I started my heel. On these I did my German short row heel with the modified heel flap adjustment, which is in Mina Phillips' Mina's Vanilla Sock pattern, which again will be linked in the show notes on my website. I love doing this mini heel flap adjustment because I have high arches and it really fits nicely when I do that. And I like how the German short row heel looks when you do self-striping, because usually it does this nice, like, I feel like you kind of keep the colors and it like breaks them up when you're doing it, and I think it's pretty fun. And then I just started my foot, knit the foot until I was 1.5 inches from the end, and I do a rounded toe, which is the toe that is in all of Hugga Canyon's patterns. It fits me the best. I like how it looks a little longer, I think, compared to the wedge toe. So if I ever do contrasting colors, it usually looks a little nicer, because when I do a wedge toe, I feel like it looks really like it's like a blip of color. And I kind of have a blip of color there. But I'm so excited that these are done. I'm excited that I've now shown them to you because I am so ready to wear them. So those are my first finished objects. I forgot to share with these socks that I did 56 stitches and I knit them on my 9-inch circulars on a US 0. And this colorway was Summer Sock Camp 2020 by Vista Dyeworks on her Viso base, which is a 75% superwash merino and a 25% nylon. And I have a good amount of this color left, as you can see here. I have a lot left. So, any ideas of what I should do with this, let me know. Or I'm even putting up some of my old yarns on Ravelry for destash, so you can always look there or message if you are interested in maybe buying some destash yarn. But that is that. Sorry, I forgot to share that the first time. But the second socks that I finished so far this summer are a pair of Shortie socks for Shane, and they are these. I love this color as well, so I'll give you a little close-up. So for these socks for him, these were knit out of Nomadic Yarns Yak sock base. It's 75% superwash merino, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. As I was knitting these, I absolutely loved the yak in them. I thought working with it was, one, so soft, and it just like glided off the needles, glided, right? Yeah. Glided off the needles, and it was just amazing. I love the slight heathering it gets underneath. And so once I finished my Summer Sock Camp socks, my June 2020 Vista Dyeworks socks, I cast these on. I actually had Shane pick out this colorway before we went on our camping trip because I had a feeling that I was going to finish those and I needed another pair of vanilla socks with me. Yeah, so I had him cast that on. I started them the day before his birthday, and I worked on them most of the day back that we drove. I worked on them at dinner the night we went out to eat, and I finished the first sock pretty quickly, and then, I don't know, I actually finished both of them pretty quickly. So I'll say a little more what I did. I did a 1x1 cuff on these because he wanted a little more cinching in, and I think this will help a bit more. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe 2x2 is more cinched, I'm not sure. I thought these would help a bit, so I did 4 colors for this, which equated to, it's like a 12 round cuff. And then I did 2 colors before starting the German short row heel. For his socks, I don't do the mini heel flap adjustment because he has pretty flat feet. And then once the German short row heel was done, just knit the foot like normal, did the same round toe, and there you have it. We have 2 socks. I love this yarn so much. The colorway is You'll Float 2. I think I forgot to mention that a bit earlier. And I picked this sock for him because when we saw the new It movies, they say all the time, like, you'll float too, you'll float too. And we say that. We're weird, and we quote that a lot, more often than we probably should. Especially when we're thinking about it. We don't necessarily say it on a daily basis, but it is a quote from the movie that we use a lot. So I bought this yarn for him because of that. And yeah, he wanted a pair of Shortie socks. He asked specifically for some because he's not wearing his long socks right now because it's summer, but he wants to wear knit socks. So made him some Shorties, and I'll show you. This is what I have left. I think technically I have enough left of this to make a pair for myself, so I might just do that because I do really like these colors, and the yarn was fabulous. So those are those. The last finished socks that I have to show you guys. So these are my third pair of finished socks for summer sock camp. These are my Lightning Ridge socks, which I am test knitting for Hervey Canyon, or I guess I test knit because they are now finished. I knit these the small size, so it's 56 stitches or 60 when you're doing this cuff. And this is what they look like. So this is my little marker from Simply Serving. It's my little lemon ginger tea marker, and this is where I was last time I showed you guys. So I had just done the first cuff, and so for these, it's a nice textured lace cuff for you to wear, a heel flap and gusset, and then a little accent stripe before your toe. This pattern does have a Shortie version, which is what I knit, and there's going to be a mid-calf length version, which has a little more of the lace leg pattern, and then I think there is an optional stripe, or I'm not sure about all the details because I did not test that one, but it's a little different, has slight variations, still kind of a nice sister pair, and so you're going to get two sock patterns essentially in one. And I love these so much. These are a lot of fun to knit because basically you get a nice interesting cuff and then some nice easy stockinette for the leg, which I really enjoyed because I could kind of do them on the go and get them done, and I'm super excited. The yarn I used for these is To The Max Yarn Co. And this was their fingering weight sock set. It's an 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and the colorway was Pride Parade. I bought this yarn because they showed it on the Grocery Girls, and percentage of the proceeds from this yarn went to a LGBTQ, that bird like attacked that bush. Got this yarn because when they showed it on the Grocery Girls, they explained that a portion of the proceeds were going to help an LGBTQ organization, and I really wanted to help support that, and I really enjoyed the colors. So ordered this for June for Pride Month, and I'm so excited that I knit my little Pride socks for the Lightning Ridge test knit. I think they look so much fun. This blue is so bright, and I say that I'm not into bright colors, and then I knit things like this. I'm into bright socks and then nice neutral earth tones for sweaters. I think it's my thing. I will wear any color for socks. And yeah, I used 56 stitches, the small size, my 9-inch circulars on a US 0 for these. So those are all the finished items I have to share, and I have a good amount of works in progress to show you guys as well, with most of them being, can you guess? Let's say it together. Socks. Yes, it is summer sock camp. Let's just delve into the world of socks because that is where I'm at. So the first socks that I want to show you guys are ones that I've been working on for a little while. So these ones I started before summer sock camp, but I'm working on them for Scrappy Sunday mostly. So these are some socks that I'm knitting for my stepdad. He asked for some. He has humongous feet. So I think it's very funny. I don't know. So this is the first sock. I have shown them to you before. So these are my Lee's Scrappy socks. I'm knitting them on my 9-inch circulars, US 0, and these are where I'm at. So 4 colors. I just did some like broad color blocking. So I basically used this gray until I ran out, then used this blue and gray, and basically did the same thing all the way down. Yeah, so I did 68 stitches, I think, or 60, yeah, I think 68 for the top portion, and then after the heel I decreased down to 64 because my gauge on this yarn I think is a little thicker, so it's getting a little big. But look how long this sock is. It is literally like the length of my head. That's what I think is funny, because I showed it to my mom and I was like, look at this sock, it is huge. Literally the length of my head is how long his foot is, which is why he's getting short socks, which is fine because that is what he asked for. And I'm doing them for Father's Day, which has passed, so it'll be a late Father's Day present. And this is where I'm at on the second one. So I have finished the gray and I am starting on the second little scrap that I have. So the way I did these is I found the colors that I wanted. I took the gray, weighed it, split it into 2 balls, took this little blue, weighed it, split it into 2, and that's where I'm at. I mostly work on these during F1 races because it is simple. It's just stocking it in the round and I can focus on the race while doing that. And something about, I don't know what it is, I pick up knitting and it's vanilla and I'm talking and not doing anything and I just automatically want to do this. So I think that's why I knit on it during the races, is because it's easy and I don't have to think about it. And yeah, I think overall for Scrappy socks, I'm not sure I love this color blocking technique. I really like when people do like the 10 rounds and just like keep switching. I think next Scrappy socks I'm going to do like the 10 round technique because I kind of, the color block doesn't seem self-motivating, and I had an idea in my head about how I wanted it to look and I don't know if it exactly translated, but I asked my mom if Lee would like slightly unmatched Scrappy socks, like do striping on the second one and have the first one be color blocked, and she said he would not, that he would rather them match. So I'm knitting them to match. And she asked, like, why does it matter? Why don't you just do the same? I was like, because the 10 rounds sounds more fun. So it's okay. But that's where these are done. A good amount on them. Like I said, I did a lot of this, I think, last week during the F1 race. They're kind of just my F1 weekend Scrappy Sunday socks. Usually I work on them. And I think this is where I was the last time I showed you guys with my little stitch marker from the Corner of Craft. If that's not where I was last time I showed you guys, then I don't know what the stitch marker is annotating. But yeah, these are the first ones that I'm working on. And then I have some new vanilla socks that I've cast on. So I'm knitting these for my friend Aria, who I work with. She has really liked my Birkenstock and sock posts that I've been doing on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I really like wearing my socks with Birkenstocks because you get to show them off. And Aria follows me there and she really likes them. So she asked if I would knit her a pair of socks. And I said yes. She said that she would buy yarn and was asking like, what type do I need to buy, blah, blah, blah. And then she scrolled back through my Instagram feed and was like, I really like these ones that you did. And I was like, well, I actually have enough of that yarn left over if you just want me to knit you a pair out of that yarn. And she said yes. And so that is what I did. Or it's what I am doing. So I'm knitting her a pair of Shortie socks out of my Vista Dyeworks Pumpkin Spice Zombody sock set that I got. So, if you can tell, I did a very similar short leg, but it is what she asked for. She asked for a short but long leg. So not super shorty socks, but not long, because she wants to wear them with her Birkenstocks. And so again, I did 3 colors for the cuff and a 2x2 rib. And then I did 3 colors for the leg. I did the German short road heel with a mini heel flap adjustment. I do not know if she needs a heel flap adjustment, but I had her try on the socks that I had originally made, which looks exactly like this, but the leg was longer and it had the modified heel flap, and they fit her really well. So I just added it in just in case. I finished these this morning, and these are the ones I took to the movie last night. When I started the movie, I was at this stripe and I got all the way to the toe, which is a good amount of knitting in 2 hours. So I did the toe this morning and bound off so I could show you guys. So when I knit mine originally, I did the heel, cuff, and toe in the contrast color, which is this little orange speckled bit. And so I started hers. I had 6.6 grams of that contrast color left, so I split it into 2, 3.3 grams for each foot. And so I decided to do it as just the heel. This is what it looks like. And I had just enough to do the heel. I think I had about this much left after I switched back afterwards. So you can do a 56 stitch mini heel flap adjustment, German short row heel with about 3.3 grams of yarn. I probably took about 3 grams because the 0.3 is probably that leftover bit. In case you're wondering if you can squeeze a heel out, I was able to do it. That's why I also opted to do the German short row for this one instead of the slip stitch heel flap, because I think those take a little more yarn. So I wanted to make sure that I could do this little contrast pop for her. And this is where I'm at with these. I literally finished them before the podcast bound off, and then kind of started grabbing my stuff. So I have not started the second one at all. And so these are in my summer sock camp bag from So Crazy Crafter. I'm absolutely loving this drawstring bag to keep in my backpack. And this is how much yarn I have left right now. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you can guess, I'm knitting them on 9-inch circulars, my Addies, US size 0. And Aria has small feet like me, so 56 stitch count sock. And then I think the only difference between her foot and my foot is I have to do ½ an inch more for the length. But yeah, those are those. I'm pretty excited. I'm glad she's wanting a pair of these. I think she's going to be very knit worthy. She's already asked like how to take care of them and wants to make sure that they're going to last. And she said to me, like, I want like nice yarn. I want like high quality, like tell me what I need to get. And so I'm glad I was able to do something fun with those. And yeah, that's where I'm at with those. Those will probably be done. I'm really hoping to finish them before the end of the month. Yeah, which I think is totally going to be doable because I have until Wednesday and I just have to do another shorty sock. And I knit most of that leg in a 2-hour span of the movie. So I think I'll be able to do that. The last pair of socks I have to show you guys are a pair of pattern socks. So they're taking me a bit longer because they're patterns. I can't take them on the go as easily. So these are my Sprinkler Days socks by Hooded Canyon. I am knitting the 56 stitch size, so the small size. And last time I showed you guys, I was just on the cuff, and now I'm a bit past the heel and onto the foot. So this is where I was last time, where my stitch marker is. I think I did the cuff and I just stuck this here. So this is my summer sock camp stitch marker. I have done the heel flap, the heel turn, and now I am on to the foot, which is this lace patterning down the front. And so the 2 yarns I'm using are a Stress Knits Favorite Mini in the colorway Ice Kink. And then the contrast is a Homespun House. And this is just some yarn that I had in my stash. So these socks I spent a lot of time thinking about because of this main color. Spent a long time thinking about these socks because of the main color, because the colorway is inspired by Harry Potter, and there's been a lot of people recently mentioning about how J.K. Rowling's remarks are hurting some people in the trans community. And I would like to say I completely do not support anything she is saying. I have a personal connection to the trans community because of my personal history, and it really hurts that someone could be saying those things, especially when there's so much influence. But I wanted to share why I continued using the yarn. It is something I bought in a D-stash before I knew about these events that were happening. And I do believe that using this yarn right now is giving me a chance to say how I feel, and that I do not support J.K. Rowling's views or anything that is happening with that. I believe our monies do speak dollars, and I'm going to be very cautious in the future with supporting people who are benefiting from using this inspiration, and that, I don't know, I find it very difficult because it is something that was already in my stash. The yarn dryer, and I bought it from a D-stash, and the yarn dryer already made money from it, and it was bought before these allegations, these remarks and everything came out and were known. And I believe by using it that I'm standing here saying that I support trans people and that I'm here for you. And it's hard because I know a good part of the Harry Potter community, it surpasses, you know, like a community surpasses a person. And there are many people within the community who found solace and community and friendships because of Harry Potter and the franchise that it happened, and many of the friendships are now surpassing that, and a lot of people who are trans and in the LGBTQ community and were also fans of Harry Potter are now bonding over what is happening. And I don't know, I find it very hard saying just don't use Harry Potter yarn, because I could have easily not used this yarn, just ignored it, switched to a different color, and just not said how I feel about J.K. Rowling and what she said, and where I personally feel connected to the LGBTQ community. So I just want to take a moment to say that. That is why I use this yarn. I know some people and other people's opinions are going to be different. If you feel more comfortable not using Harry Potter yarn or these other things, it's completely your call. I just kind of wanted to say where I was coming from and my personal feelings. And yeah, I'm not the best speaker in the world, so I don't know if all of my thoughts and feelings came across as nicely as I hope they do. Yeah, I just hope it can surpass one person and that I hope if you don't know what I'm talking about, that you spend a little time and research, and that we can all make informed decisions. And just, I would say, just research, talk to someone in the LGBTQ, especially the trans community. Ask, especially if they are or were part of the Harry Potter community. And I would say just try to educate yourself the best you can. And yeah, one of the main reasons I wanted to keep using the yarn is because I wanted to be able to talk about those feelings and how I support the trans people and trans community. And I would love to keep the conversation going, so please feel free to reach out. I would love to know how you feel and just learn more in general as well. But back to the socks. I do think they match really nicely because there are these little blips of orange that kind of pop up throughout the sock. And yeah, I've really been enjoying these. I can't work on them as much because I do have to read the pattern for the lace chart for the front. So I'm trying to do just a little bit every day on them. And yeah, I'm using 2 circulars for these as well, and not my 9-inch circulars. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm using a 2.25 instead of a US 0. And yeah, that is where I'm at with these. Not a whole lot going on. More so, my thoughts, I didn't work on them a lot because I was trying to contemplate my feelings and thoughts about the yarn and what I wanted to do. Because I'd spent a good 3 to 4 or 5 days wrestling with my emotions and what was right and what was wrong and how I felt and trying to learn. And so that is where I'm at with these. And you know, going forward, my mind could change, and I just wanted to say how I felt in general. So those are those, and they are living in my Mountain State Stitches mountain bag, and I feel like the yarn and mountains match really nicely. I think it's really fun. And those are those. The last work in progress I have to show you guys, I started yesterday. With finishing my Petal Party Crop, I was able to finally start my Vertices Unite. So this is my Vertices Unite by Stephen West. I am doing a fingering weight version, and I'm going to be doing the large size. All of the yarns that I'm using for this were yarns that I originally bought for my slip stravaganza. It was a kit that I bought for that. And then if you have watched my podcast in the past or not, I ended up deciding to frog it because it sat for a long time, and after seeing what the final pattern was going to look like, I knew it was probably not something I was going to be called to very often. And I really like the yarn, so I wanted to make sure that I picked something that would do the yarn justice. I'd eventually decided that I was going to be doing Vertices Unite with it, and I decided this a while ago, and I just did not cast it on. I was just working on another sweater, other things, just time, you know, passes and you work on other things and you look at it and you're like, I really need to cast it on, but it's just not the perfect time. And then Fiber Hustle said that they are doing a Vertices Unite knit along, and I was like, that is the perfect time to start my Vertices Unite then. And so the knit along started in June, and it goes through August 12th, I think, maybe August 7th. I don't exactly remember. All the information is on their Ravelry group. And so I finally started it yesterday because I'm so excited, and I was trying to be good, finish that test knit so I could finish it in time without starting this. If it wasn't for the test knit, I probably would have just cast this on too, and then had 2 big projects going. And yeah, so started it yesterday, and I'll show you where I'm at. So this is where I'm at so far. I've only done this much, but I'm happy with it. I spent a long time thinking about colors and where I wanted to put them in this. I actually did a poll on my Instagram. You guys really helped me because I actually did what you guys said, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. So this is where I'm at. This is my little stitch marker. He's new. He's from Simply Serving. He's a little star fox. And I thought he went really well with the orange that's happening here. So this is where I'm at. And I'll show you my colors. It is living in this little basket that I have. It holds the yarns really nicely. I'm gonna set this here. Okay, so the yarns I'm using for this were, 4 of them were from my Vertices, not Vertices. This is the Vertices Unite from my Slip Extravaganza, which I decided to not do. I bought a kit of the Urban Pearl, and I bought 4 colors, and it's 100% superwash BFL. And so for my 5th color, it is from, last color is from Teton Yarn Company, and it's the colorway Wapiti, which is like a word for moose, and I'm very excited about it. And this one's 100% superwash merino. So slightly different, both superwash, and it should be good. They're all fingering weight. So the first 2 colors is this one, which is Power Station by Urban Pearl. And I am pairing it with the Teton Mountain Sock in the Wapiti. So that is what those look like. And I'm really excited with how they are looking together, because I wanted the orange to be like a big part, like main focal point of the shawl, because I love this color. Love it so much, but I didn't want it to be just that section where it's just a section by itself. So I really like how they're striping, because I feel like I'm still getting my orange vibe, but it's also toned down a bit from the brown. And I think overall, like, the stripes are very blendy, which I'm very excited about for the first section, because I feel like that's gonna be very wearable, and I'm very excited. The next section, which is also striped, is going to be these 2 from the Urban Pearl. So this one is Urbanite, which is like, it's like a really dark brown with some pops of orange and gray. It's just a really dark saturated color. And then I'm pairing it with this white, almost like Dalmatian, but it has like these spots that are like orange, and like there's a blue little speck there. It kind of pulls all the like the main colors into this. And I did the little Stephen West recommends where you just like wrap around, I wrapped around something about this size. And I did like 5 of this one, and then wrapped 5 of this, and then wrapped 5 of this. And I really like the contrast. I think it's gonna be like a nice high contrast, which will be nice compared to that section, which is very blendy. And then the last section, which is the color that's going to be on its own, is this yellow, which is Celtic Torque. And I was hesitant about this being a section by itself, because yellow is kind of a bright color. It is kind of a muted yellow. It's not as bright. It's got some yellow and white and some specks, but I finally opted to do this as that big section, because Aria told me the other day when I was wearing a yellow sweater that yellow is my color. And so I went, okay, I can do this as the color that's by itself, because the universe is telling me that it'll be good. And so I'm very excited, because I feel like it's going to be a very like fall inspired browns and some warm colors together. And I think it'll be perfect for the summer, and as we go into the fall that's happening in August and September, it'll be perfect. And ever since I started this yesterday, I have not wanted to put it down, which is very on par, because I've knit this before. I did it before I started my podcast last year, for my stepsister. My mom asked if I could make her something for her birthday, and so I did a worsted weight version of the Vertices Unite in some camo inspired colors, so it's lots of greens, and I knit it in like a week. So when I knit the worsted weight version, I knit a small, but it basically came out to be the size of the large because of the bigger weight of yarn, which was really, really nice. And I loved knitting it then, and it's doing the same, like calling me now. Like I just want to finish a section so I can start the next section. So I think that'll be perfect for where I'm at right now. And I'm going to try very hard to not start another sweater, even though part of me wants to, but I really want to work on this shawl at the same time. But yeah, I think that'll be really good for, we are planning a trip next week, another hiking trip, but it's going to be a lot of car driving, like 7 hours-ish, depending. We haven't decided exactly where we're going yet. There's 2 places I'm debating between, both with great hiking. So I'm gonna have a lot of car knitting time, and it'll be great. And I think I'll get a lot done. It'll be a nice relaxing trip. And yeah, other than that, in the past 2 weeks, have been listening to an audiobook called 28 Summers. It's been really great while knitting, and it's exactly the kind of book I needed right now. Normally I'm not into a lot of romance, but this one is just summer themed, and I really love the characters, and I just want to know what's happening. It's been great. And yeah. Other than that, my other goals are to finish Aria's vanilla socks by end of the month, and then I want to start, I think I'm gonna do Dear Bjorn socks, which is from the 28 or 52 weeks of socks book. I want to do those, I think, out of this color, probably another like short, like 3-inch leg socks. And I want to start some Dreaming of Paris socks in a share pair that I got with Courtney, and I was supposed to start when she moved, and I have been a complete slacker on the share pair. So I want to start those, and I want to do Dreaming of Paris because we had all intents and plans to go to Paris when, like, last year, and then COVID happened. So it is very on par to do the share pair that I share with her in our Dreaming of Paris socks because we never went to Paris. So it's a dream. And yeah, that is all that I have to share with you guys today. So I want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I know that this one was a bit longer than normal, but I had a lot to show you. Like I said, I'm thinking about maybe doing weekly instead of bi-weekly, but I also want to do some other videos in between. So that's normally where I debate, is if I do bi-weekly, I can do other types of videos in between the podcast. But if we like the weekly podcast, I can start doing those maybe more often. Just let me know what you guys think. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up so that we can find other knitters to join our little community here. If you subscribe, you'll know when I post my future videos. And just again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. I love knowing what you're working on, so let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, I hope you are putting a little bit of love into every stitch you're knitting. And I'll see you guys again very soon in the next video. Bye! Today's video is episode 22 of the DoSo Knits podcast, where I share with you guys what I've been